we're gonna learn a superpower. We are gonna learn a superpower. That's right, you guys heard it here first. Or maybe you're not hearing it at all. Maybe you're just watching this in the background. Maybe it's just sort of on, not in any particular place. It doesn't matter, because today is day 145 of Office Hours. Office Hours is the fan-wide check-in where I go, oh my goodness, what did I do? There we go. Look at that. That was going to be so smooth, so cool. I was going to not reference it. I was going to not, like if you saw it, then that'd be cool, but you didn't need to see it kind of thing. And then it ended up being a whole thing. Look, if you're new here, howdy folks, I'm Brian Brushwood. This is Office Hours. Office Hours, I go live across all 5 nations. We go live on Scam School Channel, Scam Nation. We go live on Modern Rogue. We go live on X to over 1 million followers, allegedly. Seems to me like I'm just yelling at a mosh pit over there. We go live on LinkedIn for all the suits out there who are like, I don't know if I trust this Brian Brushwood, sir. They're all British over in LinkedIn. I forgot to tell you that. And we go live for the hardest of the hardcores over at twitch.tv/Night Attack. These fine folks, allow me to introduce you to the rest of the family. These are the Diamond Club, the elites, the hardcores, the ones who have earned their diamond wings and get to flash this sigil, commanding my full attention next time we do one of the live events out there. They show up with the coin of the realm, their time, energy, and effort, the only things that matter. Carbon is forged in the heart of a burning star, but I believe that's the case. I think that's the only case. I think all things are made in the heart of exploding stars. But the important part is that diamonds are crafted over millennia under intense pressure, or they're grown in a lab. Don't tell anyone. But the important point is that they're hard, the hardest of the hardcore. Wait, is this a pre-recorded intro? Indeed it is not. Not Scary Steve. All right, we're going to get to all of the prediction stuff in just 1 second. Just want to shout out everybody who showed up live. Oh, yeah, it's Adam. Hello, Not Scary Steve. Banterat, Dylan Theus, Hawk Worley, G. James B., and Merrill Barr. Ooh, here we go. Brian, I just purchased a new M5 MacBook Pro. Lots of new compute. Any software recommended I should try out with all my new compute? Yeah, we'll get to that. But first, we got to learn how to predict the future with dominoes. This is one of my favorite tricks. And, I guess let's just watch it. We're going to, as we always do, we're going to watch the episode in its entirety during the presentation. Feel free to post your questions in the chat, and I'll get to all of them. I'll reveal some behind-the-scenes goods, and then we're going to hit the project of the day. Here we go, beautiful people. And go. This episode of Scam School brought to you by GoDaddy.com. Welcome to the show that's more potent than a plate full of oysters, Scam School, the only show dedicated to social engineering at the bar and on the street. I'm your host, Brian Brushwood, and if you ask me, there's no such thing as having too much money. There's no such thing as having too many friends, and there's no such thing as knowing too many ways to predict the freaking future. We're gonna play a game of dominoes, right? And here's what I want you guys to do. I want you guys set them all face up. Go ahead and mix them up, shuffle them up. Do you guys play dominoes? You know how to play dominoes?
In our hood.
In our hood. Where we all have hair like that. All right. Here's what I want you to do. Well, first, before you even begin, I'm gonna make a prediction. Right? I'm gonna fold it over like this. Hold on. Wait for it. Continue to wait for it. Maintain the waiting that you are doing for it. Okay? I have made my prediction. I'm gonna tuck it right over here where nobody can get to it.
Okay.
Here's what I want you to do. I want you to start with any domino from the entire thing.
Yes.
All right, move them a little bit out of the way.
Okay.
And I want you to pull one of them out for the starting piece. Which one you want? All right, pull it out. Set it right there.
Here's what I want you to do. I want you to start playing dominoes with all, because you know how dominoes goes. You put up the match, and keep going until you run out of dominoes. Start playing dominoes. Both of you guys, start fill it all the way in.
I've been drinking. Is that okay?
No, that's probably better, to be honest. That's the way most of my magic works.
Yeah?
Keep going.
I have been drinking.
I needed that one.
Screw you, baby!
No, there's a, you want to keep going in one line.
But I can't.
Yeah, there's a 4 right there. There you go.
Come on, no complaining, only winning.
I like your style. Look at that, he's kicking your ass. Come on, what's going on here?
Smarter.
Smarter, faster, better.
Yes.
All right. First of all, a couple of quick questions. At any point, did anybody touch the prediction?
No, nobody touched the prediction.
Clearly, the prediction was done before we even began.
You're
Right?
absolutely right.
Second point, did I influence you to choose the first domino?
No, you didn't.
Totally free choice.
No. I mean, your hair was distracting.
Your hair was distracting.
Well, but yours
Look at
also.
that. Ring, ring. Hello, pot. It's me, Kettle. You're black. Right. So anyway.
All right, so no.
Thirdly, did I influence the way you played it all outside of to help you when you couldn't find a 4?
Yes.
All right. You selected everything. You did everything. We ended up with what's on the 2 ends?
The 5 and the 3. Oh!
You like that?
What the?
Are you ready? All right. You guys want to learn that one?
Yeah.
Here's a tidbit that even from what I've heard, professional domino players don't seem to know. It turns out that if you play this game 100% fair, the dominoes will form a circle. And by all rights, if you're playing fair, the 2 numbers at the end should match. But the reason they don't match is because before the game even started, I stole out one of these. I stole out.
Wow, nice.
So this is the missing link that would have made it a circle.
I understand.
Right? So, in this case, I pulled this out before we even began. But what's great is you can dump out the dominoes. Here, I'm going to show you.
You just show all the tricks.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to show you. This is a move that gamblers do. When you dump the dominoes out and you shuffle them together, you can do what's called copping, which is, see, look at that. See that right there? And just drag it into your lap and talk or whatever. All you got to do is catch a glimpse of which one you stole out, write it down right there. It's a pretty good trick. I gotta admit. So that's the domino prediction, man. Did you guys like that?
Amazing.
Dude, thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome.
It's a pleasure.
Congratulations on your hair, your dueling ridiculous hairstyle. Can't say enough about how much I like this scam. It is so diabolically simple, so deviously clever. It takes advantage of something that nobody seems to know, and I was able to do it on my very first try. As far as I'm concerned, it's the ultimate prediction effect. Now let's take a moment to check in with our quest to find the ultimate domain smack.
First on our list of domain smacks comes from Patrick Delahanty, who registered the domain overpaidandstillnotadequate.com and forwarded it to the Yankees website. My favorite part is that it actually says right there on the official site, Yankees suck across the top. Next up, we get a little bit political from Robert Jorgensen, who registered the domain thankyoupalin.com and pointed it to Barack Obama's acceptance speech. Lastly, we've got Jose Maestri, who registered willnevergetlaid.com and pointed it to, hey, wait a minute, that's me. Hey, wait, and that's the episode where I'm supposed to be scamming the ladies. Bastard. All right, if you want to join our contest to create the ultimate domain smack, here's what you're going to do.
Enter code SCAM3 when you check out, and the domain only costs $7.49, and they'll point it wherever you want for free. Now remember, when you do a domain smack, you're not just insulting your friends, you're not just taking down corporate America a peg, you're also keeping Scam School afloat. So make absolutely certain to put that promo code in. It's the only way we get credit, and the only way we're able to keep Scam School on the air. So we do have enough time for a little bit of Q&A. We're going to talk some game theory here from the forums. User Murphy1D asks, my biggest question has always been where to begin when it comes to doing a scam. Brian, can you give us any examples of intros you use when you begin your scams? As I would think, hey, you want to see some magic? Wouldn't work that well in your local biker bar. I also think a camera crew would grease the skids pretty well too. Well, you are correct that walking in with a camera crew certainly makes it easy to start doing scams at the bar, but it's not always that way. But I found when I go to a bar, usually the best way to open the subject is to ask someone else if they happen to know any good bar scams. Usually they'll have one that I've seen before, but it opens the door for me to reciprocate by saying, oh, but do you know this one? Have you ever seen this variation? And then all of a sudden, before you know it, you're performing, you're scoring drinks left and right, and having a great time while doing it. By the way, don't forget that you can post your questions on the forums at revision3.com/scamschool. If you have a question or if you want to suggest your favorite bar scam, write me directly at brian@revision3.com. Next week, we're going to get back to an environmental theme. We're going to learn a difficult, complicated maneuver that'll make your solar-powered calculator even more green and earth-friendly. I'm kind of green. I mean, I drink Heineken. That comes in a green bottle, right? Is there a Heineken around here? Is there?
Oh my God. All right, man. So much going on with this. This is a fantastic one. Here, cancel all this. Get back here. What do we got? Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so first of all, this is James Syme, the proprietor of Isotope Comics Lounge. He's a legend in the Bay Area. In fact, I wonder what it says here. Let's see. James Syme, Isotope. Hey, look at that. He's a cool cat. He's known for his distinctive style, which includes a trademark pompadour and a stylish suit. Syme's passion for comics and arts is evident in his approach to running Isotope Comics, where he's created a vibrant community. That's great. Here we go. Let's see, 2013. He's that guy, the one behind the counter with the trademark stand-on-end hair, dressed in a stylish suit. That's good, man. It was cool. He instantly was a fit for the vibe of the show. We had a good time. Let's see. What else? The Comic Rock Stars Toilet Seat Museum? That's amazing. I did not know that James Syme had a toilet seat museum. Best comic store in the Bay for 17 years running. Man, that was dope. That was really great. James Cobalt said, I totally forgot this episode completely. Yeah, this also touches on one of my favorite themes is information arbitrage. Because even if you play, there are a lot of things where even if you are familiar enough with it, there's no reason why you would know all of the mechanics or bother to think about all the mechanics. You could play entire games of dominoes without ever realizing that all of the cards or that all of the dominoes form a circle. Likewise, you could play bridge a whole bunch and never realize that cutting the cards doesn't do anything but change where the break in the circle of cards is. Because why would you bother to really think that out? That's not what the game is. But that perceived familiarity with the game itself is where those gaps are. And those informational gaps allow you to pull this off right in front of some folks. Oh, there we go. We got a lot of folks coming in. Good morning, Rogue, says D20 Roller. Good morning, Joe Kent Magic. Good morning, Go Hyangkai 8932. Kuro Metariku, Flochinachi. Oh, yeah, it's Adam. I think I already did a bunch of these, but a bunch of you guys just showed up. Let's see. What were some of the other stuff? So informational arbitrage and the ability to craft a narrative around it are good. Oh, this is also clearly before we had really discovered the true C block. At this point, you can tell that I'm trying to put more after the what do you call it? The ad, but this is, but unfortunately, it's not super compelling. It's an isolated, separate story that's sort of stapled onto the end of it. They're good questions. They're good Q&A. And with the episodes being so short, I hope that people stuck around for it. But this is also still before we had metrics on attention, about viewer retention metrics. Because this is before we were over on YouTube. This is when all of our views were counted by downloads to RSS, so we could just, append things to the end. Now, it is at a point where we're paying attention to what codes are being used. So you can tell that this is an early emphasis. We set up this narrative arc with Domain Smack. That is a content forward thing. It also does a classic Brian Brushwood move of celebrating the hardworking folks before we had a word for the Diamond Club, the folks in the forums, by featuring their ideas on the show, because I would imagine it's a lot of fun to lurk in a forum, say some stuff, and then suddenly you're on the video of the thing that you appreciate. But the part that drives me batty is the handshakes. What are you doing with the handshakes? Brian, why did it take you so long to figure this out? Also, we found the dead pixel. If you guys look, here, let's see, somewhere around, yep, there it is right there. Look at that. That right there, that is a dead pixel on the camera that happened early, and it's going to drive that. That'll be the new game, is we're going to hunt for that dead pixel. So the wide doesn't have it, but this tight one does. And it shows up across all the Revision 3 programming because it was an expensive camera at the time. We didn't swap it out. Not Scary Steve points out A block trick, B block reveal, C block teach. Yeah, that's where we eventually got, is where they actually perform it themselves. Oh, James Cobalt asks, what am I referring to when I say the C block? The most important innovation in all of Scam School's run is quite simply the C block. Up until Scam School, all magic tutorials were the same. There was the, here's a trick, here's how it's done, the end. That's it. Now, in the case of this, we only have one sponsor, so we're doing trick, reveal, and then sponsor, and then some Q&A at the end. Eventually, the ad will go into the middle, so it'll be trick, ad, reveal. But the important innovation happened because we got too many ads, and now I had to pack 2 ads in there. And if you put it in the middle, you're going to lose the entire audience. So instead, I came up with trick, ad, reveal, ad, and then the C block, which turned out to be the most important part of Magic Education, which is handing them the cards and say, now you try. And very clearly what you notice is that people instantly, for as confident as they said that they got it by the end of the explanation of the trick, when they went to go perform it, it suddenly was very clear that they did not have it down. And there was too much in the mental model to process. And that, I suspect, is where real learning happens. And in fact, the advent of the C block is a pivotal part of what I'm doing as I build out this cybersecurity deceptive roleplay training, the wolf masking that I'm doing. Because right now, all of your cybersecurity training is all top-down System 2. It's all defensive driving model, where it's like, here's a bad guy could get you this way, a bad guy could get you that way, blah, 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 blah. It's all words, and you can nod, and if you can barf back the same words, then you are, air quotes, protected. And that was fine until the robots came. Now the robots are very, very good. They're infinitely patient. So it used to be you could tell a scam was coming because at some point the human would run out of time and they'd have to put time pressure. But now we have infinitely patient robots, so the trappings of deception are not going to be any obvious artifacts. Instead, the only protection that will really keep you safe is the System 1 always-on intuitive understanding. And the only way you build that default mode protection is by doing the reps. And the only way you get there is by modeling the behavior, both of playing defense and of playing offense. So just like we're watching on Scam School, as I figure out that I'm taking people who don't think of themselves as deceivers and alter their core identity to perceive themselves as somebody who knows how to fool people, that's when the real learning is happening. And they will never unknow how to fool, or what it feels like to fool another person. They will, and as a result, they will recognize other people coming at them when they try to do the same. So the C block is an important innovation, and we're still in the early days before it's clear, where I'm still doing what everyone else did in Magic, which is quite simply, here's a trick, here's how it's done, the end. Let's see, what was my isotope we found out? Yeah, we talked about inefficiency. Oh, it's so fascinating. There was a moment when James said something, and it's really wild for me as older Brian to watch all of this stuff, because there'll be inputs that I hear from the not customer, from the volunteer, that I will know what I would want to say today, and I hear it out of old Brian's mouth.
No, there's a. You want to keep going.
Here, let's see if we can find it.
Yeah, there's a 4 right there. There you go.
Come on, no complaining, only winning.
I like your style. Look at that, he's kicking your ass. Come on, what's going on here?
I think he says,
Smarter.
yeah, there it is right there. So he says smarter. Something about the way he said smarter triggered an association in $6 Million Man / Heat Vision and Jack, where it goes smarter. And then and that's exactly what I said. I had the thought, and then past Brian said,
Smarter. Faster. Better. Yes.
yeah, that's amazing. That's hilarious. But I am old Brian. You better believe it, my guy. Not as old as I intend to be. I'm going to be so old. You know what? I'm committed to this much. A lot of people are afraid to get old. I'm not. I intend to get old every single day. I intend to get older right up until the day I die. Mark my words. He died as old as he could possibly get. Let's see. Tell me a bit about this Darren Brown controversy. Can you do a person Bella Bong Chow online? I don't know what that is. Let's see. One of the coolest tricks I like to show people at the bar is the human jack-o'-lantern as a closer and getting to a person's phone number by using the calculator. Yeah, those are great ones. Thank you, Tyler Washington. Earlier, when people like Darren Brown get in trouble, people write it into TV shows and movies so that he gets that he's getting into trouble. It's like last week's Law and Order showing the method for your new magic trick. For him, Darren, at least. Oh, that's interesting. Ablaze Knight, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. This is an important revisit as we move forward into the next phase. What started as a way to scam free drinks at the bar ended up being a thing that is vitally important 15 years later. Look, the surreality is not lost on me. Like, there's part of me that keeps asking, I'm not insane, am I? And everyone's like, no, we desperately need to rethink, in a world where robots can deceive humans or be used by humans to deceive other humans. We have to rethink what we do with deception trading. The key word is bong. Exactly. Okay, so let's take a look at the agenda. Pew, 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 pew. I think that's it on that episode. Yeah, that's a good one. It's a really, really good trick. Dead simple, very easy. Whenever you're at your grandparents' or uncle's place and they have dominoes, just remember that one. All right, so we talked about psychological anchors, inefficiencies in the gap of knowledge. Oh, that's right. We got to come up with a title for today's episode. Some of you guys know. Let's do this. Well, here, let me get this loaded. And then we'll check it out. I think I got 3 different angles on what I was headed for. switch account. And we're over on the Mono Rogue. Joe Can't Magic, 100%. 100%. And this is very counterintuitive. If you're in the arts, by the way, audio listeners, Joe Kent Magic just said AI will bring about the renaissance of live performing. It's going to take a bit, but if you're in the arts, I don't blame you one bit for being terrified about what AI means for you and your skill set. I am also firmly of the opinion that it will never be, it's now more valuable than ever to be actually talented at things as a human, because we will always value seeing humans do human things in real time. Very soon, the simple ability to quote citations to all of the thoughts that you're expressing will be a marvel. People will regard you as some kind of human LLM. You're amazing. And then likewise, the ability to entertain, and especially in multimodality forms of entertainment like magic, is only going to be more and more remarkable, as it's very clear that you're not using any kind of crutches, any kind of intellectual crutches at all. Similar to, if you want to prove that nobody's getting fed inside information, you have them examine your ears to make sure that there's no sneaky way to get audio information in there. Then all of a sudden it gets a lot more interesting. It's like filming movies when CGI came out. Now filming in a real set is seen as the mark of visual quality. Yeah, and likewise, vinyl never went away. Everything, now how niche it is, I don't know. Tyler Washington asks, I have a unique question for you. What's your favorite fire-eating trick and or technique? Oh, that's a little bit too open-ended. I mean, I'm a really big fan of those jellyfish maneuvers where you toss flames from one torch onto the other. There's some fantastic performers out there that are doing that. In fact, my favorite innovation that happened after I wrote The Professional's Guide to Fire Eating is using tubes as torches so that you could draw in the vapors through the tube safely at a distance. I think that's really, really interesting. Bone conduction eyewear would be undetectable by ear examination, sure, but all you need to do is another extra step to close the door on that as a possibility as well. Good job, Curtis Hoffman. Nicely done, nicely done. Cool. All right, well then let's talk a bit about this new episode that we have coming up. We're going to premiere a new episode later today that is all about what happens when deepfakes become perfect. And it's a bit of a talky, thinky episode. Sure. It's a bit of a talky, thinky episode. Oh, there we go. But we also eventually get into demonstrations of ways to mess around with kind of cutting-edge, state-of-the-art deepfakes. And you guys saw, boy, look at that. That's my own face mapped onto my own face. But in this case, this is all locally rendered stuff. Whereas the surreal stuff is the Delulu stream stuff that we're playing with yesterday. In fact, let me see if I can get that fired up here. Let's see. Delulu stream. There we go. Yeah. All right. And then we'll do, where is it? Oh, no, wait, that's media. Where's the full? There we go. Like that. There we go. We'll get dangerously close to a little bit of, there we go. Hello, beautiful people. I'm Brian Brushwood. A lot of people talk about my hair. It's, Oh, wait. I want to see if it can. There we go. Yeah, I can touch my hair. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Yeah. Here's my new favorite trick. Watch this. I'm going to get it to hallucinate. Here we go. Welcome to my new illusion. It's the severed head on a lady illusion. Doesn't it look realistic? All right, here, I'm going to put my head. There we go. Isn't that great? Look at that buff arm. Nope, it's getting small. So what you can do is you can set up a surprise. Let's see how it interprets this. There we go. Now let me just give there you go, a little bit more. There we go. Oh no, I ran out of credits. Okay. But the point of our talkie episode is less about the technical demo like I just gave you, but instead we talk about how to protect yourself from deepfakes once they get complete. And so, brilliant, AI sucks. Yeah, but also, as Jason Murphy once told me on set, there's no putting toothpaste back in that tube. And I'm like, yep, that's exactly where we're at. We always do. You're a wizard since 2009. Oh, speaking of which, I'm sorry, I almost got distracted. We've got to check in. You guys got to place your bets. I can't believe I almost forgot. Place your bets, place your bets, place your bets. How many views do you guys think this episode got? Released 16 years ago. 16 years ago, this episode has a certain, let's see, 209,000. That'd be 2 million, okay. 3 liters of waters were used to that. 17,000. It's about dominoes after all. 250,000, 14,000. You guys are going to be surprised. Look at this. Total number of views. 6.9 thousand. 6.9 thousand. Less than 7,000 views. Isn't that crazy? These early ones are pure gold. And then likewise, what we do is we respond to all of the old comments. Great idea. Great idea. In fact, let me give you guys the URL so that you guys can join us in the comment wave. Oh, God of Peanuts. So good to see you. Welcome, God of Peanuts. It's good to see you. Here's what you missed. Every day, we're going live with the little thing called Office Hours. Today's day 145. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. These guys over here, these are the Diamond Club. They're the elites. They're the hardcores. We would like you to be among them and earn your diamond wings. Remember, diamonds are hard. They're forged. No, they're not forged. They're crafted over thousands of years of intense pressure. But once you become part of the Diamond Club, when you see me live and in person, you just flash me the secret gang sign, and then you have my full attention. Right now, we're in the middle of going through all the original episodes of Scam School. Scam School was the only show dedicated to social engineering at the bar and on the street. Scam School School is the only show dedicated to social engineering at the bar and on the street. This, in one timeline, would have been old magic tricks that didn't matter. Instead, we live in the timeline where right this very minute, the bad guys have robots that they're using to deceive people into defrauding them out of money. How much money, you ask? Here's a report from the FBI. This right here is a hockey stick graph. Back in 2017, it was only $1.something billion. Nowadays, we're around $16 billion a year of reported fraud. By the way, only 14% of fraud gets reported. And we are looking at, in just 18 months, $40 billion of fraud powered by robots programmed to deceive us. So now there's an urgent need for us to all rethink what it's like to do magic tricks for fun, because we all have to develop the skills so that we can be excellent role players of both offense and defense. And so that's what we're doing every day. So make sure to join us. God of Peanuts, your champion. Truly Well, thank you very much. You say the nicest thing, God of Peanuts. And right on. This is great. God of Peanuts is back. Yeah, AI is getting really crazy real quick. I don't know if you saw my co-host just a second ago, but she was all wound up. Didn't they have a scandal? The Deloitte report is just an easy thing to find. It's FBI's data here, if that's helpful. There you go. The FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center is the real source. That's hilarious, though. Yeah, AI is getting crazy enough that it's time for humans to start being human first. So you'll notice a big theme of what I'm doing is we need robust social networks so that we have people we trust to have each other's backs. That is urgent and vital, not just for protecting yourself against deception, but also for diversifying your responsibility portfolio. It's much harder to fool 5 people than it is to fool one person. And right now, we're coming out of a time where we're all profoundly isolated. What, to my eyes, that means we are all rich targets right now. So as fast as possible, we need to build robust, inhuman, whenever possible, social networks. Importance. Hey, right on, Dr. C4. Good to see you. I was gone for 2 weeks because someone at work got social hacked and all laptops and servers got trashed. Sneaky AI social bot virus. I'm telling you guys, I'm certain I sounded crazy 6 months ago when I was banging the drum and sounding the alarm on this. I remember saying 6 months ago, nobody's actually scared yet, but soon the headlines are going to make everybody scared. And when they do, I intend to already be there with a solution. And that's exactly what we're doing. Joe Kent Magic says, I did a card trick for several Gen Z kids, and they wanted to look at the deck, not out of suspicion, but because they had never seen a real deck of cards. I was thinking about that too recently, about how the point of using cards is that they're familiar. And so when they do something that they're not supposed to do, you were naturally amazed. But lacking that familiarity of it, there's a number of different Magic needs to rethink a lot of things. Like, where are the moments that we can create magic? I got one for you. Like, I don't have a solution for this yet, but you guys always see me use the Telestrator to draw stuff. And very clearly, like, there's no doubt in your mind that right now Brian's drawing this stuff. But wouldn't it be amazing if just after drawing that, suddenly this mouth started talking in real time, and in the background started moving, and it became like a side scroller or something. Like, that would be a very magical thing that would break your mind, because you'd be wondering technologically how that was even possible. But I'm always looking for strange modalities to break somebody's map of reality. Let's see. It somehow got into Teams. It was chatting with someone, got a password. That is also, we don't have the habit and routine of suspecting that anybody in those live meetings is non-human. So, and the reason for that is the social lift is too big to suddenly accuse somebody of not being real. And so that's what my system does, is it creates, because the company knows that at any given time, some chunk of the company is playing a game where their assignment is to deceive other people, that causes everybody to be just generally more aware, but not in a high social cost, Chicken Little, sky is falling way, but in a low social cost, hey man, is this going on? What's going on? That kind of stuff. Started moving. Thank you, Kuramitariku. That's pretty good. Dr. C4 on the I'm doing the hot take of what you're saying is conventional wisdom in the DEF CON crowd. Everyone says you can't fix humans. I beg to differ. Literally, that's why we're studying scam school, because that's all I'm doing is I'm taking non-magicians, non-deceivers, and turning them into predators, into deceivers. Very clearly, you can patch a gullible human. And the trick is you put them in the fighting pit. You drill them on offense and defense. Then once they rack up a kill count of people they've deceived, it becomes way harder for you to deceive them. Quite simply, the core identity of all training right now is the student is a hypothetical victim, and their job is to be taught all the ways bad guys can get them and then hold them in their mind. It is ridiculous, it is unsustainable, and it is flatly dangerous. That is why I am developing the deceptive roleplay model, the wolf masking model, and we've already done a pilot program at Clemson. Here, let me, if you guys missed it, I'll show you. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. So what I do is I take people who have never done any of these, and I explain, look, we're all going to be the deceiver now. Basically, you're going to write a first phishing attempt. There we go. You're just going to write, here's a serious document, .pdf. And then you're going to link it to something silly. Make sure it's really hilarious and silly. And then instantly, in 30 minutes, everybody goes 0 to 1. Then I ratchet it up a little bit and I say, okay, now I want you to actually try to fool Brian Brushwood. And I talk a bit about the trappings of authority, of urgency, of speaking to other people's needs. And then very quickly, these students got very clever. For example, in this case, they used the trappings of a foreword and a legit story about campus police and a suspect image. And of course, you know, it's my old promo photo. And then they got more clever when I set them up for player versus player. In player versus player, then they took advantage of everybody's anxieties as students, and they did stuff like adopt the trappings of the president of the university, claiming that they've been hacked and everybody needs to relog into the student verification portal, complete with, I mean, again, these are 18-year-old kids, and this is 90 minutes of instruction. But by setting it up as a game with incentives and doing the exact same techniques that I do on Scam School, small moves, keeping people in their comfort zone, just overstepping just a little bit, soon they're creating these weapons grade gotcha things. So in other words, just like Gary Gygax, when he invented Dungeons & Dragons, you open up the original manual, Dungeon Master's Guide, the first thing it says is, yo guys, Dungeons & Dragons is just let's pretend with rules and dice. That's all I'm doing, but for rickrolling or the circle game. But it's working, and it is patching the humans. But let's see. I did donate to a Scottish charity. We need a rickroll for this decade. Yeah. No doxing these students. Whoops. Yep. Good point. I'll have to remove all of that stuff. But back to the question. Bee-boo. So for the title on this, I want to make it clear that it's cerebral. That we're asking, what do you do when deepfakes become perfect? Actually, that's not a bad title. Let's see. What do we do when deepfakes are perfect? Started playing around with a couple of other ideas as well. Let me see if I can find them. Title. Oh, maybe it was in a different. Do you guys have a particular LLM that you like more than others? Let me see. In fact, here we go. There we go. So we got kind of 3. Oh, here we go. What do you think? So 1 is a high concept curiosity gap title. The answer is the chocolate fountain defense for the chocolate fountain defense. This is a topic point in the episode where we talk about the one true way to never fall for a deepfake is to have a strong sense of a shared reality, a shared mythology, shared story. And so the casual ability to, before in the early part of a Zoom call, as you're calibrating and doing your social throat clearing, you're able to, I like your point here. Not scary, Steve. The shared reality of being able to say, hey man, how's so-and-so? Did the bruise go down on his head? And you're like, oh man, he did take a header into that chocolate fountain. Now, without calling it a security password handshake, you've both referenced different aspects of the shared reality. And so you could go forward assuming that provisionally that you're talking to the actual person. So I kind of liked that idea of the chocolate fountain defense as a name. And then the day video stops being evidence. The day video, that's too general though. Stops being evidence. I don't know about that one. You won't know it's not me. That's interesting. You won't know it's not me. And then, what were some of the others? The chocolate fountain defense, the day video stops being evidence, you won't know it's me. Your new coworker is a North Korean spy. The only way to beat a deep fake. Ooh, that's pretty good. The only way to defeat or beat a deep fake. Oh, wow. I worked at a place that got rid of RSA tokens because they were too annoying. Yeah, the solution, and this is why it's going to be an uphill battle, because altering, you like defeat. Altering a culture takes a lot of calories, and they've got to be human calories, because right now everybody in cybersecurity defense is still chasing scalability. They want robots to do things, but they don't understand that there's a deep difference between synthetic combat versus real player versus player. Like, ask anybody who's played your Overwatch or an MMO or whatever. It's like you can play against bots all day long, but something tickles your brain different when it's actually a different human out there. So all of these scalable solutions involve, the worst ones are top-down videos and quizzes. Slightly better are synthetic player versus robot. The best, though, best, there's no substitute for it, is player versus player. And the best of player versus player is where you start with the core identity. You go from 0 to 1. Your next one is to ratchet up and make them better. Then you cross over to PvP, and then you play defense. Right now, everyone just goes straight to defense, which is, forgive my French, fucking ridiculous. It is a broken system. And if you or your company knows that you're exposed and you have any of the off-the-shelf solutions, that's fine. I'm not telling you to get rid of the off-the-shelf solutions. I'm telling you to write me and get me on it. It's brian@schwood.com, because you can either, brian@schwood.com. That hockey stick is coming no matter what. And if you're not, if whatever it is you have that technically means you're covered right now is going to mean jack squat when your whole thing gets compromised. Let's see. Darsanekish3 says, I bet people would be able to tell immediately upon interaction. Imagine if World of Warcraft or Guild Wars, where every human was simulated by an AI model, I think today that would take a lot of compute, but I would. We're already at the ability to simulate the entire world if you're a state actor, and now if you're a large-scale company doing that, you could do that if there's a reason to do it. And then soon we're headed to what Perry Carpenter calls folk-grade technology of it. But if businesses hire AI as workers, the AIs will have to know which robots are bad robots, not just robots. That will probably be part of it. You can already, like, that already exists. Like, when somebody sends you something, you can ask your robot if this other thing looks like a robot. And it'll give you a pretty good estimate because it's another set of eyes trained on the latest stuff. And there will be that, but the core thing is everybody's trying to design systems that keeps the humans weak. And as long as you're doing that, it is not going to work in the long term. So what nobody's doing is building the muscles of offense and defense, recognizing deceptive behavior because you're doing it. There's one moment where I was so pleased with all the coverage of everything on cameras and stuff with HQ, and then one person who's former military just said, "Yeah, but couldn't somebody just do this, that, and the other, and then subvert all of it?" And I was like, "Would that work?" And he said one phrase that rang like a bell in my mind. He said, "That's how I would do it." And then that's when I realized he naturally thought that way because he had the experience. He remembered what it was like when he would penetrate into places for the military. You see the world differently once you've been the predator. And what we have right now is systems designed to keep people weak. Even our grandparents or whatever, we want to protect them with layers and layers and layers. Don't do that. That's profoundly isolating. Instead, start training them today. Again, brian@schwood.com. Start training them today to learn how to be a player of the game. And there's different scales to things. The first program is season 1 is about phishing emails. And then season 2, we do voice clones. Season 3, we do video. And then season 4, we begin physical penetration testing. And it's small moves. You can make everybody a B- red teamer in your company, and nobody has to be great at it. What you need is a massively parallel, anti-fragile mesh network of humans who can have other humans check their work on there. Season 5, take over a small tropical country. What's funny is it'll feel that way. It'll feel naughty and thrilling in the same way that Scam School felt naughty and thrilling. You're scamming free drinks at the bar. Secretly, it's beginner lessons in magic. Even more secretly, it's teaching critical thinking skills of deception. So basically, we're just scaling that up for a very urgent, very large scale problem. Oswald the Rabbit says, I could tweak some default settings like what everyone gets on LLM sites. I could change it to be more truthful or more hallucinating. Oh, there we go. Literally, I have 2 games with AI LLM models. Like, I got 40 characters that have a life, and they know LLMs. And it's a matrix game where you just go, where you must make the AI know that they're in a simulation. Oh, that's hilarious. That's great. Yeah, it is. It is. And it's only going to get better and better and better. All right, guys, I gotta flip a switch. I gotta figure out what title I'm gonna go with for this episode, but we're gonna do a premiere over on the Modern Rogue channel. Let's see. We'll aim for noon-ish Central Time. So let's all be lively in the comments because the robots track all of that stuff. So what I'll do is we'll keep the conversation going in the chat during the premiere, which will be in about 2 hours. About 2 hours. Sound good, guys? All right. I will catch you guys in 2 hours and then again tomorrow. Bye, gang.